we can certainly have people join in as they go along here. So
okay, we're recording.
John, can I have some access to share my screen, please?
Okay, you should be good.
Thank you. All right, so we're really glad to be here this afternoon to be working with our Western region folks, and glad to see you guys getting on here after the end of your school day, whatever that looks like for you today. And so I'm going to be just presenting some quick resources for you this afternoon from some of our national FFA resources that I am going to be sharing as part of my role this year that Darla and I are completing as national FFA teacher ambassadors. And we're calling these OWL sessions to get you some quick things that hopefully you can use and be able to incorporate into your classrooms this fall, perhaps during some of our some of the times where you need some different resources or some virtual resources or anything else. So we're going to get right into it here. And the first question that I want to really answer for you guys is, how do you find the resources? I'm going to be sharing two today, but there's a whole resources library of things available to you that are already made by national FFA education staff. And there are some great things on there that can help any of the topic areas that you might be yearning for something, that you don't want to recreate something to make some new activities for whatever sort of model of school you're in this year. So I made just a quick video that I'm going to share that shows you how to access some of the resources. And I think I need to stop share just for a minute so I can get it back to with computer sound. Hi, I'm going to show you two quick ways to be able to Hi, I'm going to show you two quick ways to be able to access the educator resources that are available on the National FFA website. You can see the National FFA website, ffa.org, and their home screen here on the page right now. So the first way that you can access the educator resources is to go to the dashboard and click on Teachers and Advisors. And when you click on that tab, that will bring you to some resources just available to teachers and advisors, including your roster information and other aspects related to that. But on the menu on the left-hand side, you can scroll down to Educator Resources, and when you do, you will get to the menu that has the specific resources created by National FFA. Right now, the information about National Convention is front and center and is something they're highlighting, as well as some remote teaching resources. But as you scroll down the page, you'll find some of the major categories that they have resources, such as what's new, lesson plans, educator guides, program management, and professional growth. So feel free to browse. And if you have a specific resource that you're looking for and you know the name of it, then if you scroll down a little bit farther on the left-hand side, you'll find a search menu, and you can type in there and identify what you're looking for. One other way to get to that educator resources section when we're on the main page of the FFA website is to go to Explore FFA. All the way over on the left-hand side of that menu, almost to the bottom, is the Educator Resources tab again. And when you click on that, that brings you back to the same place that we just were, where you can find the main screen for all of the great educator resources, as well as the search menu. So happy browsing, have some fun, and check out some great resources to add to your classroom today. All right, so hopefully that gave you some just a preview of how do you access all of the resources that are available to you. And if that went a little bit fast or you want to see that again, we're going to be able to provide you with that video link, as well as the video link to this session after the meeting today. So the first resource that I'm going to present to you today is some resources that are provided by Valent USA, a partner with FFA, for some lessons and activities that involve sustainability. And Darla just posted in the chat for you the direct link, to these resources in the FFA Educator Resources section. So just so if you want to be able to access them directly, you can link to them. And I wanted to ask you folks that are on here a question in the chat. How do you teach about sustainability in your classrooms currently? This is a topic that is pretty relevant to all of the agricultural industry, and it's one that sometimes can be a bit elusive because it's not a particular segment of the agricultural industry or something that we may be like putting front and center. However, I think more and more agriculture is really addressing sustainability, and it's something that we certainly should be teaching about. So the Valent USA is a company that they deal with a lot of bioproducts and more from a plant science kind of standpoint. And they do get into some of the more technical aspects of sustainability in that way in some of their resources, but they also are teaching about sustainability from a consumer perspective. And I found these lessons to be a great opportunity for students to kind of connect from the level of consumer and thinking about sustainability. So there is an 8-lesson series here, and all of them have hands-on activities that go with them. And as I said, if you want to explore these lessons that are available, if you click on the link that Darla shared in the chat box, then you'll be able to access them directly. There also is a final assessment that they've already prepared that could easily be created into a Google Forms or something like that to give to your students electronically if you wanted, but they have that available as a Word document or a PDF in their sustainability resources. And their resources, their lessons here also have some very good ties to FFA and SAE within them. So when we take a look at specifically where these resources are in the educator resources section, as I just told you, they are found in that educator resources page, and this is in the lesson plan section. And all the way at the bottom, just about at the bottom, you'll want to click on sustainability in order to get there. And on this slide is just a sneak peek of some of the different activities that are within the 8-lesson series that they have here. So the one that's on the left is actually one of my favorites, I think, that is very adaptable for students right now that might be hybrid learning, remote learning, or online learning. And you're trying to think about something that they could do at their homes that is engaging and allows them to connect. This activity here has them examining some different foods and packaging to assess it for sustainability as well as some other indicators. And this one gives students the packaging examples, but a great expansion on that would be to allow them to find some other examples of packages of food at their house that they could make a similar analysis of. And that would be a great way to help those students kind of connect in and keep them doing something active. And as I said, they also have the evaluation listed here that goes over some of the major topic areas that they're highlighting in the sustainability lesson series. So how I would use this in my classroom, some of the different ways that I've thought about incorporating it is that it is so lend itself so well to a virtual setting that all of these lessons really are things that could be easily converted and taught to a virtual audience or a hybrid audience. And I really like that about the lesson series. It does use kind of a theme throughout as trail mix, and this reminds me a whole lot of the food science CDE, where students are creating a product, and that also connects back to food science because that CDE is highlighted in these lesson series as well. But the trail mix is something that could be something tangible to send home to remote students. It's also something that could just be tied in throughout that allows students to interact with a product they're familiar with when they're assessing sustainability from start to finish, whether it's the raw products that are used to make it or the packaging that they see as a consumer in the store. It is something that could be included as a whole unit in your class. And so I saw nobody's answered my chat here how you teach sustainability in your classes. But if you're not teaching sustainability, maybe that's the answer, then it could be a unit or it could be sprinkled throughout and incorporated into other components of a class where maybe you're teaching about different components of the industry, such as production and marketing, and you can embed sustainability lessons throughout it. One of my favorite aspects of this curriculum is also CDEs, that they highlight some CDEs through these lessons. I don't personally coach CDEs within my class. I leave that to outside of school time, but I definitely use my classes to help to market a CDE or try to encourage students to participate. And some of the ones that are listed here are definitely ones that I don't necessarily often have students interested in or intrigued by, and I can see myself using this curriculum to be able to expose students more to these CDE areas. And these are some important ones. Ag issues are something that I wish I could do more of in all my classes. Ag marketing and food science are also great contests, as well as agri-science fair. And I really think that I will use these lessons this fall in my Intro to Ag class or my Ag leadership class. And I don't teach Ag business right now, but in the future, I think that I will use this lesson series with my Ag business students potentially as well, or some from it, because of the strength of the components that relate back to Ag business in that way. So the next CDE resource that I'm going to share with you, item number 2 today, is the U.S. Poultry and Egg Curriculum. So this curriculum is also one of the lesson plan series that they offer, and this is a 13 lesson series about poultry and egg industry. This one also has incorporation of FFA and SAE highlights within the curriculum itself. And one of the really nice bundles that is involved with it is a companion guide that students can teach elementary age children with. They can do some sort of ag in the classroom that expands on things they're learning that then they teach to the elementary age students. Sponsored by the U.S. Poultry and Egg Industry. And this one also, as I said before, educator resources page on FFA.org. Once you get there, it's in the lesson plan tab, and it's also just about all the way at the bottom. And again, anytime that you're looking for these resources or any other resources, the search bar is also very handy. So in this lesson series, the 2 that are highlighted up here is on the left, a page from the companion guide, which is, again, something that they're encouraging potentially high school students could go through this curriculum, then take the companion guide and be able to teach the elementary students some lessons about poultry and egg industry. So that's just an activity from that guide there. And then on the right is an activity that's related to vertical integration. And that's something that is described in depth in these lessons. And they go through really all aspects of the poultry industry. I like this curriculum, this 13 lessons, because of the way that it's laid out. We don't teach a ton of poultry up here, but it's something that is like a nice basic unit. I feel like it gives a lot of exposure in a short time frame, and I can definitely see myself throwing in, you know, a nice 2-week unit on poultry and eggs to be able to expand some of the things I'm currently teaching. So vertical integration, it also talks about poultry breeds, it talks about anatomy, it goes through broilers, eggs, and turkeys as the major aspects of the poultry industry. And they do quite a variety of different lessons and activities. Both of these curriculums have done a really nice job of incorporating things like YouTube videos and students doing some research or exploring websites, using other multimedia sources, along with answering questions and doing some critical thinking on their own. So I could see myself using this also in my intro to ag class. I also might use something like this in my animal science class. I think that most of the information that's presented here is probably something that can be handled by intro to ag students versus upper level animal science students. It would maybe need to be beefed up a little bit to expand into that kind of sector, but it really depends on where you are. It wouldn't take very much to increase the rigor of the lessons to be more acceptable for an upper level kind of course. I really like the literacy lessons. It explains the industry very well, the poultry and egg industry. It also really allows students, as I said, to share the things they're learning with a younger age level. And they're highlighting potential poultry SAE connections and foundational SAE connections. And the way the lesson is written, the lesson series is written, it encourages students to learn about that poultry industry, but then an ag literacy where they're sharing the lesson with elementary students. And this is a time where I'm kind of dealing with SAE students. This is a great opportunity to potentially have an SAE project that doesn't necessarily need to be in person. So maybe a student interested in a poultry SAE, doing some poultry in the springtime in the car, a great opportunity that they could maybe do some exploration or learn about the poultry industry through a set of lessons like this, preparation for that. Or the whole ag part could be in person. If your school is running that way right now, students could still do some virtual ag literacy lessons. I'm really thinking about that with my students, that the students are still interested in engaging with elementary students, and that we can't, that we're hoping to maybe put together some classroom kits to send to our elementary school and maybe video chat in so that we can still work with the students in the elementary school from a distance. So those are the two resources that I have to share today with you. And as I said, both some really great opportunities that can quickly enhance some of the things that you're doing or give you some additional information to add to your curriculum, that you might want to try some different resources now or need something that would help fit in a virtual environment, and these have some great opportunities for you there. So I'm going to maybe list one more survey question for you in the chat. Ask what one of these do you see there potentially could be some with either of the two resources that were shared. And while you're answering that or chatting about that, would love to take any questions that you have about these resources or the National FFA Ambassador Program that Darla and I can answer. We also do have a survey, and we're supposed to be sharing, we need to collect data on the workshops we're presenting. So if you were able to listen and prepare for, listen to the workshop today, if you could complete the survey link that Darla put in the chat box. We do have a $10 FFA store gift card for the somebody that a survey all right, so I see a question from Carol Fay. How did you get connected to the ambassador program? And so I have seen on the radar for a couple of years that National FFA was doing the ambassador program, but 2016 was the year for it. But every year that it came up was always during FFA Activities Week. And I was like, oh, that'd be cool to participate in. And oh no, I can't do that. Not gonna not go to Activities Week. So this year was the first year this program's been growing for them, and they had expanded it to 2 weeks. One was Activities Week and the other was like the week later. So the information about applying for this program is on the National FFA website. In fact, in the Educator Resources section, I believe you can find info about the Teacher Ambassador Program. And it is a multi-step application process. And then after people are selected, there's a training that is supposed to be in person in Indianapolis for a week in June. And we did our training via Zoom this year, but then they encourage ambassadors to present as much as they can and connect with other people throughout the year to be able to share resources and make teachers' lives easier in whatever way we can. People sometimes reapply to be an ambassador. It is like a 1-year process, and it is possible to reapply for the next year. And I think they're just are trying to get as many people familiar with the resources as possible. So it'd be great for you know, other people to apply as well from Pennsylvania and have the ability to become familiar with all the great things that they're doing. They have some amazing resources that really are there to make your life easier, and hopefully you guys can use a bunch of them in your classrooms if you explore more. All right, so is there any other questions of these resources or anything else? We're about ready for our is going to do our ring.
Can I have permission to share my screen, please? Oh,
Should be good, Darla.
I thank you much. Yep. So what we did here, we tried to catch those people that joined by 3:45. That probably would have seen the most of Melanie's presentation here. This is a pretty cool resource if you're looking for ways to get kids virtually engaged. It's called Wheel of Names. You just go and type in everyone's name there. So I put those that showed up by 3:45 for our drawing here. We're going to spin, and then Melanie will be in contact with your $10 gift card. So good luck, everyone. Woo! Mr. Brammer, you're the winner. Congratulations.
Spin it again. Spin it again. Give it away.
So, yeah, you actually can do that. So I'm going to remove you from the wheel this time.
Okay, great.
Sorry. Dr. Ewing was really offended that I didn't have him on like the wheel last week, so I didn't want to miss anyone this week.
He was.
John, I put you on the wheel. And there we go.
All right.
Thanks so much, Renee, for joining us.
All right, excellent. So again, I was really share with you what we're planning on doing is Darla and I both are sharing some different resources with the different regions. And so in the springtime, we are planning on sharing again. Darla will share some resources with you folks in the spring, and I'm going to hit up some of the other regions so we can kind of spread the wealth and just try to give you guys as much background info and all the great resources that we possibly can. So thanks so much for coming early for our resource spotlight, and hope you guys have a great meeting.